This sode would not be possible without the support of our listeners, patrons, and sponsors. If you'd like to learn more about supporting the 3-Bit Gamer Show, check us out on Patreon at patreon.com/3BG. And a huge thanks goes out to our boss-level patrons, Christopher and Patrick.
So, you guys ready to do this Valentine's sode?
Yeah, I think we got some really good stuff, some funny stuff.
Dude, I'm happy it came together. I think people are really going to love listening to it before Valentine's Day.
Wait, what?
Oh, I just think it'll be fun to have like a theme this week. Then people can listen and go on their date with a smile.
Dude.
Peterson.
What?
Peterson, today is Valentine's Day.
No, it's not. It's oh my gosh. Oh no.
Welcome to the 3-Bit Gamer Show. It's me, I'm JD.
This is Peterson.
And Danny.
And we're learning new stuff. Just bear with us.
Oh, okay.
Live from the 3-Bit Gamer Show. The news. All right, the news this week is brought to you by Crave Cookies, who I recently, Trent told me today, they're so slammed. He says he's losing his mind because they have 3 different Valentine's Day cookies today.
Big mistake, Trent.
What better for your Valentine's, for your Valentine, but a giant cookie? And so, Crave Cookies is this awesome little cookie, soda, and pretzel shop in Midvale, Utah, and they sponsor our show, so you know it's good. Go check them out. You can find them on cravecookies.com, and also they deliver on stuff like DoorDash and things. If you're anywhere near the area, it's not that much. It's like an extra $5, and you just get hot, fresh cookies right to your door. So check them out. It's Crave Cookies. All right, let's start off on these news stories, and I'm so glad. I was telling Danny earlier that I'm so happy she's here because we have so many industry stories, and we always like to have our industry insider to help explain.
She just knows way more than we do about this.
Because I already have questions. So here's this first story. This is actually huge news we missed last week, and so I wanted to go back and cover it because this is something we definitely need to cover. But the Gears of War producer that everyone knows, Rod Ferguson,
he's been there since the start. Gears.
Every single Gears game. You may have seen him on Twitter as Gears Viking was his title. He's a red-haired dude. He's very Leif Erikson-esque. He's very much a Viking. And he worked on Gears for 15 years, well after like Cliff Bleszinski left, and he worked as a producer. And so he has taken over a number of troubled projects as like he's like, I'm a closer. Like he knows, he's very aware of who he is, and he comes in on really troubled projects or projects that are not doing so great. He just closes them out. He worked on, I didn't know this, he worked on BioShock Infinite toward the end.
Oh, that's awesome.
Wow.
Favorite game.
Yeah, so he helped close that out too. And so I'm assuming this means they brought him in a little earlier than normal to close out Diablo 4, possibly Diablo Immortal, maybe? I don't know, whatever sides of that they're involved in.
It's tricky with Immortal because Immortal is partially a outsourced project.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know like what he will be involved in on there, but I do know that he'll be working on Diablo 4, and that's actually super promising. Like an insane win for Diablo 4.
Like it is.
Good. That's a good news thing.
Yeah, because I think everyone is very, very, very concerned about Diablo 4, not just because of all the shit that's happened with Blizzard in the last couple years, but because of Diablo 3, which let's not forget was not the best.
It did not have a good launch.
And it wasn't, I feel like it wasn't really, it's not held in the same like paradigm as Diablo 2 and Diablo 1. People are like, oh yeah, Diablo 3, that's a separate thing.
It had some issues largely because with the way that they launched Diablo 3, a lot of the kind of overseers of that project higher up than the developers. So we're talking not producers or anything like that. We're talking on the marketing side.
Oh, okay.
They were already writing off Diablo 3 after its launch, not taking into account Reaper of Souls or any future DLC.
Nice.
So when Reaper of Souls did very, very well, it didn't even really get a chance on the industry side to do well. that was kind of a fluke thing. So future DLCs were already canceled before Reaper of Souls could even prove itself, unfortunately.
Yeah. So this is good that we're doing the good work before the game launches instead of doing all the great work after it launches. So, Danny, I need you to explain to me and the listeners, what does a game producer do? Why does this matter that we've got some all-star producer? What's he going to do? What is his magic?
So producers are extremely important in the game industry because their job is to make sure that all of these working parts are working together towards a common goal. Because when you are making a game, it's like building the tracks in front of a moving train. And oftentimes, even till the very end, you don't really see what your game is straight up going to look like, how it's going to work. You're in this studio where you only see a tiny part of what you are doing on this game.
Yeah.
Right? So the producer is there making sure that all of those little like satisfactory style conveyor belts are going towards the right thing they need to go towards. They are usually the person who is kind of protecting the team from outside influences, kind of keeping it very insular and making sure that everyone has a common goal. And really, they're not really a boss per se. Like their job is not to boss around the other developers. Their job is to make sure that everyone is consistently working on the same project.
Okay, so I was going to ask if they're closer to a product manager or a project manager. It sounds more like a project manager.
Yeah. So, I mean, my producers in the past have been extremely helpful in just making sure that if there's ever a conflict between, like, say I put something on the drive that didn't match a style guide or something like that, they'll be the one to kind of catch it usually because they'll be there during implementation and maybe be like, that kind of looks different. Here, let me go ask the art team what's up. Or they'll usually let us know if there's a bug or if we need to consider something different when we are working on the game. Or they're the one who is talking to the publisher. They're the one who's trying to contact all of these different avenues for us to actually get our game out there.
Oh, okay. So it goes beyond just the actual development. So
tell
me, if you had to just guess, what makes Rod Ferguson, what makes an amazing producer that is headline worthy, I guess.
So with these producers that have been in the industry for so long, and as you said yourself, overseeing troubled projects in the past, pulling them on early is an excellent way during the pre-production phase of development, early production, to pretty much solve those problems before they become a much bigger problem later on.
Sure.
In the pre-production phase of development, that's like where we're getting our concept artists are working, our engineers are putting together the baseline code. We're getting everything in the place where it needs to go so we can start making assets and start actually tossing things in there and we can start play testing. A lot of people don't really know this, but at BlizzCon 2019, the Diablo 4 that we saw, that is what we would call like a tech demo. It was a tiny, tiny, tiny slice of the game they want to make.
Yeah.
A lot of those art assets, it looked beautiful, but a lot of those art assets were placeholders. They were there for that announcement, and straight up, most of them probably got thrown out after, because it was just to show that they're working on something. A lot of that code was probably duct taped together. Like,
I was going to say, because sometimes teams that make the trailers are not really developers necessarily as much as they are just hacking together a trailer, right?
Oh, yeah. Like the cinematics team is a completely different department at Blizzard, and it is at a lot of other places too. But with even their gameplay, their goal is to make just like a front-facing product super tiny, and then they go, okay, that went well, we're in the clear for now. Now we have to go back and actually like make it work and
do that thing we said it could do.
No more smoke and mirrors, because that's what a lot of it is. So getting that producer early on who's seen those kind of problems, he's able to recognize them, he's able to patch them, and he's able to kind of right the ship in case there were any similar problems he's seen before. Yeah, so it's very, very good to have him on early.
Dude, I'm stoked. I'm so stoked. This bodes very well for a game I had written off. I was like, Diablo 4 is going to suck because Blizzard sucks. But Rod Ferguson could come in here and save it. He has been, I always loved when he worked on, we've been a little rough on Cliffy B the last couple of weeks, but I always felt like Cliff Bleszinski was kind of the prima donna, and Ferguson was doing all the work, and he was getting very little accolades. And after Cliff Bleszinski left, and seeing that Gears, I wouldn't say that Gears of War produced any bad games. Like, they're solid games. They're all what you expect when you buy a Gears of War game. Yeah. There haven't been any massive dips in quality like you see in Call of Duty or sports franchises. Like, it is just a straight base. There's nothing. It's not blowing people's minds. It's not like, oh, Gears of War 4 redefined everything. It's like, no, it was another Gears of War game, and it was solid, and I enjoyed it. And I think you bring someone in like that can do that consistently on a franchise like Diablo. I'm stoked. All right, so this is great, dude. Every story of ours is industry stuff. This is our next one. Disney invites game developers to tell original stories with popular franchises. This is on the Hollywood Reporter. And can you help me? I read the article, but is Disney literally saying just all developers... All developers of all, every developer in the world, come make Disney titles. And that means Marvel, that means Star Wars, that means all the Disney properties, which is extensive. I mean, hell, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids is Disney. Like, there's so much stuff. And they're like, our IPs are open. Obviously, you'd have to license their IP to make the game. But isn't that crazy?
So that's kind of what we've wanted, especially with Star Wars, after EA kind of has had the... monopoly on it, and they've canceled some amazing
and they finally
products.
Make a story-based one, and it was the most profitable that since they've signed that deal, by far the most profitable game was a story-based one.
Right.
And original story. And I think that's what they're saying. They're saying, you know what? Proof of concept, this worked. They made a new story. We approved it. We made it part of the canon. This worked. It made a bunch of money. Hey, developers, if you're interested in one of our properties, hit us up. That's what it sounded like. Because it sounded like they had a bunch of developers like in the room.
Yes.
While they were saying this. And they're like, hey, if you want in, hit us up and we'll talk about it.
And there were no strings discussed, which... Danny, why are you suspicious?
I'm suspicious because there have to be strings.
It's Disney.
There have to be.
It's Disney.
Yeah.
That's
like,
the thing.
You don't mess with the mouse.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that. Every creative knows that. Like, you don't mess with the mouse or the mouse is going to get you.
Yep.
And so when they say that, they just...
We gotta have a mouse. We gotta have a Mickey clip on our soundboard.
Gonna get you.
I'm coming for you.
Well, so like here in Salt Lake, we had Disney Infinity was developed here. And that studio is no more. And that was a Disney call. That was not a game studio call, right? The way I've heard it described is essentially Disney, like a lot of companies that are not originally involved in games, a lot of them go through this process basically where they will say, you know what, our properties are very interesting, or they're very good, or they're very profitable. So we are going to open a game studio. And we're going to hire people, and those people are going to make us a game. And then that happens for a little bit, and then new people kind of come into the parent company, Disney, and they go, you know what? We
shouldn't be making games.
Well, it's not as profitable for us to make games. We should outsource it.
So
it's going to be cheaper. So then they lay off all those developers. This is what happened to Infinity.
Yeah.
And they outsource everything instead, or they kind of try to cut deals for selling the properties to other people to make them. And then it's not in-house anymore. And then it just changes back in probably another, 5 years where they'll go, you know what, outsourcing's expensive. Like, it's all about like this new business idea coming in and trying to like change the status quo. So while it's exciting to think that some indie studios, if they can afford licensing properties, that's the first asterisk. If they can afford that, it's cool that the opportunity is open to them, but it's also it's a two-way street, right?
Yeah.
Disney still has final say.
Right. They're going to have control of...
Exactly.
They have to approve the storyline.
They have to approve everything. Like, it is very much strings attached.
Yeah. And I think in a perfect world, there's an infrastructure in place for that where Disney has an entire department working with developers on this. They made no indication that exists. And I feel like a lot of the stuff is going to go through old school things. I mean, the guys or the teams they have that are approving books and coloring books and all sorts of other licensed shit like I know I'm stuck on. I was like pencils, and I'm stuck on art supplies that have Disney branded. Disney branded art supplies.
How did you know about my art supplies?
They're all mouse based, but the idea that like all these things that are licensed Disney, that department's going to be handling video games now. The guys that were like given the sign off on stickers. I don't know.
And they have to wait for approval on all those things. And that actually lengthens the development process. Because when you say that you're working on a Star Wars game and you want to make a new original character for your protagonist, and he is a Jedi, and you know what, he trained under another character you made, you have to have all of that approved. Like nothing has to cross a wire with something they have going on in another studio, B, a movie, C, like it has to fit certain parameters. And even just waiting to hear back from Disney for the yes or no or the changes can be, it just lengthens everything.
And as I say, game development doesn't have a lot of time for waiting.
Nope.
It's sitting on your thumbs.
No.
Like, that's just not a thing.
No, like you got to keep moving. Otherwise, your game can end up in development hell and then it never ships.
I'd say the good news is, though, that maybe we'll get some more stuff in because Disney owns everything. Maybe we'll see some more stuff.
I think we will see. If it works, it's great. I think even if it fails, we will still see some cool shit.
We will.
And I think the other thing that makes this a little more unique than when it's happened in the past is that Disney has an incredibly expansive catalog now of IPs.
They do.
If you just take Marvel, I mean, 100 years of comic books, like, good Lord, how much source material do you need? You could do anything with all that. So I'm cautiously optimistic as much as you can be with Disney because, they're evil monsters.
I just want Insomniac to make more games. They've been fantastic. Spider-Man is amazing.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like that's one of the other things that they cited was Spider-Man being an original storyline. And Jedi Fallen Order, that these are massily successful games.
They were like, hey, it works.
Having existed as unique IPs in Disney's giant catalog. So next up, you guys might have heard this already, but Anthem, that game everyone forgot about, that you're like, oh yeah. I think every time you hear the word Anthem, you're like, oh yeah, I remember Anthem.
That came out.
They are giving Anthem a massive rework. The developers at BioWare came out with a big old statement. Well, not that big, but just kind of extending, kind of a mea culpa, like, oh, we fucked up, even though we denied fucking up initially, but we did.
But the numbers came in, and we messed up.
Yeah, no, we had our finance guys check, and it was bad.
Oops.
Yeah. And so they are trying to win back fans. They're trying to appease current players with a big old redo of the game, essentially, and it's going to be completely different. Not completely different, but it's going to be so updated, I guarantee you people that played this on launch won't even recognize it. So that's kind of the promise. So this kicked off a larger discussion that I kind of wanted to just briefly touch on. Is that this is obviously a pattern now. This is a habit for giant AAA developers. What they do is release a half-baked product that's nowhere near what they've promised. So it's a two-edged sword, right? Because you could be, if you're releasing a game, you're like, there's, which no one would ever do, and that's an unreasonable expectation that you'd be like, the game's not everything we hoped it would be, but we hope you like it. No one was ever going to do that. But
that doesn't exist.
Right. You release it half-baked, and you say it's not, and you say like how amazing it is and how great it is, and you spend months, if not years, telling everyone how great it is.
Hyping it.
And then you lie like crazy. You get this huge initial fan base, and these are all, the one thing I forgot to mention, these are all online multiplayer games.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up.
They're services. So that's the idea. This isn't like they've released a single-player game. It was unsatisfying. People played it, whatever. These are games they want you coming back for. They want you spending money on daily, monthly, whenever.
They want you to stay and
want you on this game and just hanging out and playing and spending money. And so I think at this point, these so a couple of other ones that have had this is Destiny is the biggest example of a game that kind of launched. I mean, Diablo 3 we already talked about. Diablo 3 kind of fits this paradigm where it was like it suffered at launch, but I think the one thing that we're finding is the studios are looking at these as too big to fail. They're like, well, we sunk all this money into it, and our entire financial year is based on this game making money. We don't have time or money to read it, because I mean, even the fact that Anthem was essentially developed in a single year, it was in development for like 8. So I mean, unless you are like, okay, well, let's actually just come up with an entirely unique game and IP and crunch for 12 straight months to get it done, you have to You have to go back to your too big to fail game and make it work. But this is so shitty that this is the way they do it, because they found that you can just lie your pants off, and then you get enough gamers in that they're invested and they already have bought the game that you feel like you've earned that 12 to 18 month leeway to fix the shit you sold them. That's so crazy. That's like selling a car with 3 tires after you told everyone how fast it goes. And then they're like, well, my car doesn't really go fast. And in fact, it doesn't really drive very well. And they're like, oh no, the next tire's coming out. It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be so
But
fast.
you can't afford another car. You just spent all your money on this car and they know you're fucked. And so they're like, cool, yeah, let's work on that tire DLC. I'm over it, dude. I think this is crazy. We cannot reward this.
The problem is releasing the bad version first and then overhauling it. Yes, they can make a good product later, but you've already lost so many people.
Yep.
Right? Because very few games, I think, can really make that bounce back to where people are actively jumping back in. I mean, you saw it with No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
They said, oh, we've done so much. It's so much better. And I did jump in and buy it when it was drastically on sale. Right? I think it was $20 when I got it. And yeah, I played it for a while. But a lot of people who were burned at the beginning were like, nah, I'm out. So you've already eliminated a massive player base.
Yeah.
Right?
And I think the damage done to BioWare, I don't know if they're ever going to recover, because that is what their name is now represents.
It's really concerning with BioWare, because they had just come off of their newly opened Montreal studio with the failure of Mass Effect Andromeda.
So 2 misses in a row.
And 2 misses from different studios. Yeah.
You don't get a miss on a Mass Effect game.
No.
You don't.
Oh no, I'm a huge Mass Effect fan.
It's just like it's just like Bethesda with Fallout 76, which is another example.
Yep.
Which was a huge miss on a Fallout game.
Yep.
And that's the thing, is they're like, we can't have this in our legacy. We can't have all these gamers, and they're redoing Fallout 76 with a massive overdue.
Big overhauls, big DLC. I saw that they were thinking about adding NPCs into the world now.
Yeah.
Because people we're
like, where are they?
Yeah, where is everybody?
It's just empty, and the game's just empty. But that's the other thing, is that they treat these people, these initial buyers, these suckers, unfortunately, they treat them like they're beta testers, because you're like, oh, we should add this, we should add that. They didn't know that. They didn't know that when they were developing the game, or if they did, they ignored it. And then it hits launch, and all the Reddit comments, all the forum posts, all the Discord channels are all ticked about these things. And they're like, oh, we'll add those in later. Thanks for the ideas, suckers. We already got your money.
Yeah,
I'm over it.
A lot of that largely comes from publishers pushing publishing dates too. So we've seen a lot of pushback dates recently in the news, like Animal Crossing and Cyberpunk 2077 are both getting pushed back to later dates, and Bloodlines 2 as well.
Yeah,
which was cited, I think, in the majority as to keep their workers from crunching, which I'm 100% for. Crunching is awful in the game industry. It straight up burns out young artists and engineers and developers super early, and then they're out of the industry, and we lose this huge
brain drain.
Engaged talent pool.
Yeah, you lose a huge well of talent. That's just amazing, and they're gone just like that. So
and they're not coming back. That's the other thing, is because they go out into the real world and find that they're making twice what they were making.
Oh yeah,
working half the hours.
Yep.
They're never coming back. And they're out there gaining tons of experience now in different industries, on different tech stacks, all this other stuff. They're not going to go back.
No, they're not. And so when publishers push these dates up, that's what happened with BioWare, is they wanted a certain publishing date. And yes, it's a super complex move, right? Of when do I publish my game that it's not going to compete with these other games that are similar, when it's not going to compete with something that's completely different, like Doom. Doom and Animal Crossing are releasing, I think, on the same day now.
Huge crossover in those fan bases.
Yeah. Gamers win, right? So that's a very strategic move, right? But when they have to move around all these different moving parts, it becomes a huge issue for pushing those developers to finish a game. Yeah. It's a bummer, and it's very cruel, but a lot of that is on the publisher.
Yeah. Okay, well, we'll skip this one because I want to keep the topic on
going.
Publishers. Okay, so here's another conversation that I think is really interesting to have. This is on Video Games Chronicle, which is a publication I've never heard of before. And the headline is, "It's hard to say if Games Pass helped or hurt Outer Worlds, says Take-Two."
This came in their earnings call, right? They talked about this.
It was Take-Two's earnings call, and it's the CEO, Strauss Zelnick. And you guys know how I feel about CEOs. You guys know how I feel about silver spoon in the ass prep school kids. Which is exactly who Strauss Zelnick is. But reading this article, I was just, this guy is like very well spoken and thoughtful, and I feel like I thought all those answers to the questions during this earnings call were really well thought out. I was like, what the hell? Way to go, Strauss, the dude I've never heard of before, also in charge of all of CBS Interactive, apparently. What?
What does he do?
Wunderkind. I don't know. He just went to every business school, including Stanford and Harvard. He went to like a 4-year prep school. Like, no, this guy's like silver spoon up his butt, but he says words like ecumenical. So I'm like, you're using your education, I guess.
That's fair, yeah.
Smarter than me.
Yeah, I didn't know that word till today.
I mean, neither.
Yeah, like,
I Googled it because I didn't know what
that's a new one.
But they asked him in this earnings call, because if you guys were aware, we talked about the Outer Worlds, which is the newest Obsidian RPG that came out. And I really loved it. I thought it was great. It was a $60 game, full game, AAA title. Some people were saying AA, but I think it was technically a AAA title.
2.5A.
Yeah, it was in between 2 and 3. And they also had it on Games Pass. And Games Pass, if you guys aren't aware, is $5 a month, and you have all the games that are on it. And so they're asking during this earnings, $10 a month.
$10.
Okay, I was thinking it's $5 for the first month. Is that what it is?
Well, they do all sorts of sales.
Yeah, so you could
but
get
normal on your Xbox, $10 a month.
Yeah, but if you wanted to, like, I don't have Games Pass and I wanted to play Outer Worlds, I could spend, I think, $5 on one of these deals or something,
Yep.
and technically the game's $5. And that money's all going to Microsoft, if you remember. So the only money that they're getting Take-Two / Obsidian / Outer Worlds, the only money they're earning from this is whatever Microsoft gave them
Whatever
initially.
deal they made.
Whatever deal they made. So I think it's a really good question to ask, did this screw you over? And I think one of the things I saw on Reddit that was interesting is that a lot of people viewed this game as a perfect Games Pass game because they didn't want to buy it. They're like, I think it looks dope. I've heard it's pretty short, so I don't think I want to invest. I don't think it's a $60 game. I think the consensus is after it's out, after all the reviews and all the dust has settled, people have pretty much agreed it's like a $30 game. It's kind of short.
I hadn't really even heard about it.
Yeah, and it wasn't marketed
E3
that well.
right before that. And then I was like, oh, this looks kind of cool. I'm going to keep my eye on it.
Yeah.
And then when I saw at the end of the trailer that it was like, and it'll be on Xbox Game Pass, I was like, done.
Sweet.
I'm going to play it.
Yeah.
100% I will play this game.
Yeah.
Right?
So this was one of the quotes from my boy Strauss. He says, generally speaking, we think that subscription offerings, to the extent that they exist, are probably better suited to catalog, but we're willing to take catalog, meaning that he's like, it's better to just like toss that game in a couple years,
Right?
When we're not selling it
at
anymore.
launch.
And then he says, but we're willing to take experimental chances when it makes sense for a particular title, and when the deal underlining that option also makes sense for us. We're also pleased that we have a great partnership with Microsoft, and we're mostly pleased that the title is such a big hit. It's sold over 2 million copies and won 75 game awards.
Wow.
It's very impressive.
I think the guy, I think in general, Take-Two's attitude toward this is we're just going to take a risk on the Outer Worlds and see how it pans out, and then check the numbers on it, because it wasn't, like you said, a hugely marketed flagship title for anyone. It was just a cool game that Obsidian
kind of came out of nowhere.
And I think Obsidian is building a base for a bigger franchise. And I think if they take all the assets, all the stuff they've already created for the game, all the gameplay and stuff, and just make a bigger game on top of it, Outer Worlds 2 could be an absolutely standout title. And I think that taking that first initial game that's not amazing, and it's not going to sell buco bucks, when Microsoft is like, here's $50 million, come on. You take that, and then you're kind of happy with it.
So that's what I was going to say. I think it is it's the least, and I don't know the cost for all this, but it seems like the least risky option.
Yes.
Because you're getting guaranteed money, right? They could have released Outer Worlds, put all the work into it,
right,
and it could have flopped completely, and that's just nothing. They got nothing. But they got a deal from Microsoft, And that's what they'll do. They'll look at that and say, what's our risk here? And so that's why I kind of like it, especially with some of the smaller studios, maybe with a title that's not being super hyped, right? Where they know they're going to sell 11 million copies, right?
Yeah.
Where they can just say, hey, you know what? Give us some guaranteed money. I love that. Because if the game is hot, they will sell some copies.
Like
which
I bought it. I bought it for
Right.
$60.
Right. Yeah.
And you got it on Games Pass.
I got it on Games Pass.
Most people. And the other thing is that's really cool is it's a win for everyone because Microsoft, they have the data on this to see how many people bought Games Pass and then the first or second game they played was Outer Worlds.
Yep.
So it was clear they got it for Outer Worlds, and then they can go back to Take-Two, they can go back to these studios and be like, here was our return on investment for this. We actually brought in another 100,000 subs off of your game, and we're really happy about that. Let's do this again.
But yeah, and it's leveraging for both companies, right? So now Microsoft can say, you know what, it worked. Now the game was a huge hit, and so Take-Two can say, well, if we're going to do that again, we're going to need more money, and they can say, we can offer that because we saw how many people signed up just so they could play that game, right?
Exactly. And a lot of studios end up taking deals like these for exclusive contracts on certain consoles or certain web pages or stores. It's because sometimes when you are one of the smaller studios on the smaller side of AAA or AA, it's about keeping the lights on.
Yep.
It's about getting through the current title that you're working on, selling enough that you can either continue to support that game or that you can continue to work on the next game. We saw this also with Hello Games and No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
It was about making enough of a return, even though their game had such a disastrous launch, that they were able to work on community management and improving their game, like getting back to work. Because a lot of times when you are one of these studios, if your game doesn't sell, well, studio's going to close.
And selling a game is expensive because it's not just I make a game, people buy it. There is that middle ground, which is marketing and engaging a customer and a user base. And we've told you, we've already said it. Outer Worlds did not have a lot of marketing. Tons of people hadn't heard of it, but they weren't really aware of it.
It wasn't hyped for years in advance.
But guess who?
It launched with a lot of big titles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Swim Sharks.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, and guess who they got free advertising and marketing off of Games Pass. Because you look at Games Pass and you pull up your Games Pass and what's the number one title that just came out, bam, it's Outer Worlds, and now you can play it. So
guarantee marketing's part of the deal that they make too.
Absolutely.
Like, hey, if you give us this game, we will contribute this much to marketing your game because they have a vested interest as well, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I think overall it's really cool, and I'm happy that Take-Two's huge, and they have the leeway to make these calls. But the fact that this dude's talking about, taking risks and experimenting on the streaming services and seeing how they're going to play out, I think it bodes really well. And I think Danny's point that it will overall help a lot of smaller devs, kind of give them a bit of a boost. I think that's awesome. I think it's cool. I don't know if it's going to last long term. I don't know if no one will know the return on investment outside of these halls in Microsoft,
Right.
And we'll know if they didn't get a ROI if they shut down these types of programs.
Yep.
But I think for now it's really cool.
I think the CEO is right though in saying like, yeah, we don't know if this helped us or hurt us. That's what he said. We don't know if we would have made a lot more money just selling it on our own because it did turn out to be a hit.
But he seemed happy. Like he was like,
it wasn't a mistake. He didn't say like this was a mistake. He was just like, man, I don't know.
Which is you would say on an earnings call because you'd want to be honest with your shareholders, and if it was a big hit, like you have to say it because otherwise it will come out because you're a publicly traded company. So, all right, our last story, and this one is very interesting to me. I don't know anyone else. Geoff Keighley. I will say that K. Geoff Keighley, who is, I think you guys probably earliest people remember him. He was on G4, right? G4 TV.
Oh my goodness.
Was he on X-Play?
So?
He's been doing games journalism stuff in the video realm for a long time.
Yes. The video, like he's been an on-air personality for like a billion years in gaming.
He's done like all the E3s.
He was on G4, and then he was the E3 guy.
Yeah.
Like he was the guy that did all these announcements, like whoever he was working for, he was always covering E3 as on-camera talent, and he is not going to E3 2020 for the first time in 25 years, which I think is about as long as E3's been around. This dude is not going to E3. So E3 is the big gaming expo. It's a trade show. It's a game trade show that's held in Los Angeles every summer. It's usually in June. And it has historically been a big place for publishers and developers to announce
Big
titles.
announcements.
It's the announcement
It's
expo,
the announcement
yeah.
expo. Like that's what it was. And if you remember, I remember as a child, it was you turned on G4 for the entire week and you just watched game trailers, and
watch
game
parties.
announcements, and there were watch parties, and that's what it was. And Geoff Keighley was the guy that was
He was
calling
up there.
these. Since then, I mean, since my childhood, E3 has gone through a lot of changes.
Yes, it has.
So traditionally, E3 was closed to professionals and industry workers only. And so a lot of times, like developers, like people would do, like it was like people very, very far on the edges of game development were able to, get a badge to E3, and they were the fans of E3, but they were still, everyone there was technically,
You basically had to like prove that you like worked for a game studio.
Yeah,
like, you have to show them like pay stubs. I've gone a couple years that it's been industry only.
So I'll cover the history really quick, and then I want to hear your
Yeah.
particular history with it. So that was what it traditionally was, and then a couple years ago they decided that it was too industry inclusive, and they wanted to make it a fan kind of expo, and so they opened it to the public, and it seemed like a good idea on its face because hey, the whole thing is every gamer in the whole world always wanted to go to E3. It was just like a dream to go to E3.
Yeah, like it looked amazing.
It looked amazing, and good to be there and to be in the middle of all of it was a dream for many. So they're like, well, let's just make that dream a possibility for everyone. The unfortunate part was that it made it so media, who's kind of responsible for E3's success because it's a trade show for media, they were like, well, we can't do our job effectively if this is essentially Comic-Con.
If it's Comic-Con or PAX or anything like that,
and PAX
different.
You can't really, as press, like there's not really press coverage at PAX because like how are you going to get from all this to all that? Like you physically can't get
so
to where you
crowded,
need to go because it's so crowded. So after that tanked, they went back to the kind of typical format that they kind of have now, but they're still playing with it and teasing and toying with it. And apparently they're toying with it so much that Geoff Keighley wants no part of it. However, I will give the other side is that Geoff Keighley is also the host of the VGAs, the Video Game Awards, which has also become a show that's half Video Game Awards show, trying to be the Video Game Oscars, and then half video game announcements.
It is 1/3 Video Game Awards, 2/3 announcements.
So he obviously has a vested interest in his own show doing better, while he doesn't go cannibalize some announcements that he may be able to score for the VGAs. That's my whole spiel on the history of E3 and why this is interesting. Danny, when did you go to E3?
I think I went about 3 years ago. I went before they switched over to public, and then I went the first year that it switched to public.
So, man.
So
I've gone twice, yeah.
Okay, so I went as media before that, and I never did the public thing. What was the
Oh my god, I hated it. I hated it. I've never gone back. Like that year was supposed to be fun because another girl from my Dungeons and Dragons party got to go for the first time. Oh, the first year it was
first
public.
E3.
Yeah, and so it was awesome because I got to sit there like with her and be like, "We're here."
Yeah.
Even though like I had an industry badge and she had like the bright yellow public badge that made it. It basically
Pleb
was.
badge.
It basically was like yelling, "Don't talk to me. I'm just a fan."
Scumbadge.
It looked like that. They made it so if you were an indie developer, if you were interested in anything and you wanted to talk to developers, if your badge was yellow, no one would talk to you.
Yep.
What?
Because it just like screams, "I'm just a fan."
Oh my
you know?
god! And I'm sure all the developers just felt like kings, just marching around.
No, they felt crowded and they didn't want to be there. Like straight up, one of my Blizzard friends and I just like found a corner and just like hid there because we were like, we don't want to be here anymore,
dude. And I'll tell you, I did it as press 2011, 2012, and 2013. and it was so crowded.
Yep.
Like, I was trying to get from, like, the South Hall to, like, the West Hall or whatever, and it was a nightmare. Like, I'm, like, barreling through people, and I can't imagine more people.
It had lines all the way around the entire convention center. It was absolutely ridiculous.
There were lines merging together to make a mega line.
You just got into a line. You didn't know what it was for. You just started getting into lines like
see
Soviet
what the
Russia.
lines
Yeah, exactly. Like when they did the Resident Evil Biohazard announcement, first 200 people get to go and play like the kitchen demo. If you are not one of the first 200 people in the door and you don't beeline for that house,
right,
like you're out of luck.
You get to see the sign.
Yeah.
Outside.
Take some
yeah,
pictures.
and you're just like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It was just so crowded.
I think Geoff Keighley leaving, PlayStation announcing that they're not going for the second year in a row.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've heard people say, like, is this the decline? Are we seeing E3 dying?
Do you
right
need
now?
E3 though?
That's the
because
thing.
can you just post a trailer on YouTube?
Yep.
And it gets posted on Reddit, and 500,000 people see it in a day.
Yep.
And then they share it out, and everything's really easy because it's already a link and it's already a video, and you don't need to go to G4.
You don't need to do production for people who are sitting there as well as...
You don't need to fly your whole team out. You don't need to... I mean, they build giant structures. Yep. They build physical buildings inside of the building for you to go inside the building so you can see the games. Like... They don't have to do any of that.
No, in fact, when you take your game to something like E3, congratulations, you're up competing against every other game that's announcing at E3, and you better hope that your game stands out from the pile. And there's always a theme, too. Like, I remember one year I went, it was the same year that they were marketing, like, Skull and Bones, and then Crossbones and Sea of Thieves was still doing something. It was the pirate year. It was just...
Pirate
year. It felt dumb.
Yeah. And, I mean, the things that people pay... Developers pay money to just have just to stand out a little bit.
Yeah,
you can literally pay money to have your game as a poster cut into a bunch of lines and stickered on the stairs.
Yep.
So when you're at the bottom of the stairs, you can see the poster.
Do you think maybe E3 is crushing itself under its own weight because it was the biggest thing? It got too hard to get noticed, too expensive, and then people realized, like Nintendo realized they could just do Nintendo Directs.
Yep.
PlayStation, there's like, oh, we have our state of play, right?
Well, and they were doing that before too. Like all of Sony and Microsoft's pressers were always off-site. They were never at the actual convention.
EA always did their stuff off-site as like a party before E3 even started.
Yeah, and that's all. I mean,
part of E3 week.
Yeah, and I do think that because it was so much money. Like I went to a Halo Reach or Halo 4. I don't know which one it would have been. Party. It actually, was Nathan Fillion in one of those?
He was in.
He was at the party. And my editor.
You get to hang out with him?
No, my editor beat the shit out of him in Halo, and he went and it was not appropriate, but he went over to talk shit, and he's like, I was talking to these two ladies, and I was like, busy. It was like everyone was being a douche, and I was like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. It's like you're being a douche for being like, oh, I beat you in Halo, and he's being a douche for being like, oh, there's all these bitches all over me, and I'm like, I gotta get that fuck out of here.
I don't like
but
this.
the thing about that is, the point of this was that there was a bar. They rented the entirety of the bar.
Yep.
They had to set up. I think it was probably like 20 different full Xbox setups and stations with a game that wasn't out yet for everyone to play, and they had all the food and all the drinks were Halo themed, and they all had this special menu. Think how much money that cost.
Yep.
Holy shit, when you could just put a demo on the Xbox store and call that good now, that's all you need to do.
Like, did you guys see how Bloodlines 2 was announced? Like, that was the way to do it. They did it at GDC, of all places, so it was just developers, and so they didn't even really worry about that. They made it an ARG to find where the announcement was, and when they finally did reveal it, they revealed it with, like, a live stream of, like, an acted-out thing, and then just a talk with the developers, and then they were done. They didn't even have to show more than a trailer, and they're like, anyway, no one else is going to compete with us on this day, because we just did that.
Yep. So Buzz is so much bigger now, and you don't need to just sink so much money.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, we've got to move on.
Alrighty.
All right, Kudos is our positivity segment. We like to give shout-outs to things we love. And this week's kudos, you guys take the floor.
Danny, why don't you start us off?
All right. So I want to give a quick kudos to my tattoo artist. I just got a awesome new video game tattoo featuring that game company's Journey.
One of my favorites.
Oh, it is my favorite game, and it is absolutely beautiful. So Dawn Davis over at Sweet Needles Tattoos in Salt Lake City, Utah, did a fantastic job. She took the concept art I showed her from Matt Nava on like the Journey game, and she translated it beautifully. It's going down my arm. I'll post pictures.
It looks incredible. It really does
thank
look
you.
great. A lot of detail on it. It just looks clear and defined, and it looks really good.
Yeah, she did a fantastic job. I'll post pictures on social media, but Dawn Davis did an amazing job. Go give her money. She is amazing.
Sweet Needles.
Yep, Sweet Needles is where she works.
I think that's always good because you don't want a bad tattoo artist giving you a
Yeah,
tattoo.
you
I
can only
looked
get one
forever,
shot.
Yeah, I looked forever for this artist, and I follow her on Instagram, and her work is just always amazing. She really specializes in like fine line work and grayscale woodcut style tattoos, and she just got this sketch of an early version of the Traveler down perfectly. Yeah,
So good.
she's amazing.
It's awesome. So we'll definitely make sure to post those on social media.
All right, so this is the Valentine's Sode, so it's all about love. And so I got to bring up
Oh my god, the first impression rose.
The Bachelor. Okay, listen. If you've been listening at all, you know JD and I have a slight obsession with the Bachelor's franchise.
I'm like any good raccoon. I love trash.
Yeah.
Feed me trash.
Like, I don't claim ever that it is good or quality watching, but I
It
cannot
kills
get
brain cells
enough.
worse than like huffing turpentine.
Yeah.
It's like the equivalent. It's
Yeah, that
not
is-
good for your brain.
No.
No, but I
So
can't. I
cool.
cannot stop you guys. I was not excited for this season, and we haven't really even
Oh,
talked
the Bachelor.
about it at all.
The Bachelor sucked this season.
Like,
I know you guys care. A ton.
The Bachelor guy was the worst. I just didn't like him at all.
Peter. Such
Peter.
it showed. Seriously.
Yeah, he sucked.
God,
He's just so boring, and he still is boring. But he's worse now than I even thought. So this season, I'm not going to give you a full recap, but this has been the worst season I have ever seen.
And it's the best.
So you get a
By far.
So if you're not familiar, it's one guy dating like 25 women, and he'll like slowly eliminate them, and the last one he proposes to, right? This season though, usually there's like, oh, here's the villains, here's your favorites, and then there's a bunch of girls in between. Not this season. Everyone is a villain.
Everyone is a
including
sociopathic liar.
Oh my
Peter.
God.
They all lie. I'm not kidding, and that's made it the best. So there is some supplemental reading you have to do. So you watch the episode, and then you have to go on Twitter and just do the search hashtag The Bachelor, because people are calling out these women for their blatant lies on the show. I don't know how they think they can get away with it.
I was just really poor growing up, and so I remember so many times all I had was just me and my little brother just had a potato, and I just cut it in half, and we just eat it with salt and pepper.
Yeah.
Just a
And
raw
everyone
potato.
in Newark high school was like, no, she wasn't. She was rich. And then it's like that blatant. There was one girl who was like, high school was so hard for me. I was so bullied. I lived in the South, and everyone just bullied me because she's like half black. They just bullied me. They called me the worst names. I ate in my senior year, I ate lunch in the bathroom. And he felt so bad
Got
for
that
her.
from Mean Girls. She stole that from a movie.
He felt so bad for her. Of course she got a rose. And people were posting immediately, like, her pictures.
In the
She
yearbook,
was
right?
voted, like, the prettiest girl in the senior class. Like, popular girl,
Yeah.
right? To complete, just the absolute opposite of what she said. And this has been everybody. Every girl has been an absolute, like, blatant liar. The worst and best part about this, though, is there's been so much drama, and
Which
The Bachelor.
lying
Yeah, this is great.
is
That's what you
inherent,
want,
yeah.
though. But Peter has been just eating it up. If a girl cries and is involved with the drama at all, he's like, "Well, you got to stay.
Here's a rose. Yeah,
you are the best."
So he's filtering out the worst people. Like he's only keeping the worst
Yes.
ones.
Oh,
Yes.
no.
And it's delightful.
It's amazing.
It's delightful.
He even says, like, every time a girl's like, and starts crying, and, oh my gosh, I just have such strong feelings for you. Every time he's like, that's all I wanted to hear. That's what I was looking for.
What?
And it's like, It's crazy.
Dude, it's crazy.
I'm not kidding.
It's crazy. If you've ever been like curious about The Bachelor, now is the time.
Oh,
or
God.
if you're like one of those people
wild.
like me that's like every couple seasons you just bounce off. You're like, oh, it sucked the last 2 seasons. No, it's good, you guys.
Wow.
It's good.
It is. It's unbelievable. Anyway, I hope Peter finds his true love.
I hope he doesn't. I hope he does this
won't.
forever.
No,
I can watch a year.
I
of
tell
this.
JD all my conspiracy theories about The Bachelor. He is definitely not finding his true love.
No.
I can
There's-
guarantee.
He may not even be human.
Yeah,
He
no.
might be like looking for a weird like
He's-
insect mate.
He's the worst.
Someone's head to eat. Oh my God.
Is that how he's keeping girls?
Don't
like-
give Peterson more conspiracies.
His head looks like it would taste all right.
Yeah,
I
it
guess
is.
he'll stay.
You get some nice meat on your skull.
Those cheeks. He's like, he doesn't kiss them. He just like rubs their forehead. And he's like, yeah, okay.
I kept one girl that her thing was just like incessantly touching his face and stuff.
That's
And
so
as
weird.
someone that doesn't want to be touched ever, I was like my skin
Yeah.
was fucking crawling. And I was like, this is the best. This is the best season
There
ever.
has been actual moments in this season. This is the last thing I'll say. Actual moments in this season where watching it, I am uncomfortable.
Oh, no.
Yes!
I'm watching it, I'm
like
like,
The Office.
oh my God.
Like Scott's talk.
Yeah.
Like,
so
that's where we're
uncomfortable
at.
watching
It's
this right now.
awesome.
There has been multiple moments this season, and I can't stop smiling. It's a mess.
So I have a very quick 30-second kudos because I will definitely be talking about it later, but I've just barely, for you guys that played this back in 2011 or later, I just picked up Kerbal Space Program. Mm-hmm. I am absolutely adoring it. I will be definitely talking about it on future episodes.
But you just started, like...
Yeah.
you're pretty fresh into it.
I'm just a couple hours and a couple tutorials in. Haven't even gone through all the tutorials yet, but guys, it's good. I already know it's good. Okay, that takes us into the meat of the sode. The cheeks, the meaty skull of our episode,
That looks tasty.
which is Valentine's Day. And
Wait, what?
Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day. Is it Tines? Is that what you said?
Valentine's Day.
Valentine's?
With an M or with an N?
Valentine's Day.
Okay.
Okay.
I think we're getting close. So we wanted to do the first
Valentine's.
our first love day, our first V Day segment is
Our
Valentine's.
first VD segment.
Yeah, we're talking about VD. Valentine's Day designed by gamers. So what is you take Valentine's Day and maybe you strip all the hallmarkiness away and you make it a game holiday and you let the gamers choose how this holiday should go. What are the traditions of a gamer times?
Nope. We'll get there. We'll get there.
I would just say playing co-op. Like,
Ooh, okay.
Like
Hey,
that's what it is.
Honey, will you
Will you
play
co-op?
co-op with me?
Will
Yeah.
you be my co-op
I thought
buddy?
you'd never ask. Will you? No. Here's what you do. It's formally handing over the controller and saying, "Honey, you can be P1. I'll be P2."
Ooh,
You can be
I mean,
Sonic. I'll be Tails.
I'll take
Wow.
the Mad Catz
That is
controller.
quite-
I got
that's
this
quite
one.
The gesture.
I know the left stick is stuck, but I love you that much.
Wow.
There are parts rattling inside of it. It's fine.
I thought instead of Valentine's Day is all about the fineries, including champagne because you're celebrating
Yeah. It's
I don't
like
know.
Romantic.
nothing in particular,
yeah,
an arbitrary
rose petals,
day. Yeah.
rose petals and whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. So instead of that, like you don't know, but I've got a better solution. You have to get all the finest selection of Mountain Dews, all the game fuels. Yeah, and then those are your fineries.
The rarer, the better.
Oh, you get a pitch. I found out apparently. First of all, there's a Mountain Dew wiki, like a Mountain Dew Wikia,
No surprise.
and there were 3 different versions of Pitch Black. We're on the
Really?
3rd one now, and
Oh, wow.
people have
Interesting.
opinions on all 3.
Oh, that makes me really happy.
I know, right? I'm so no wonder there's a fandom page
This
for
is
it.
a 2007 Pitch Black.
Yeah,
that
this
you're
is-
serving.
You bring a different vintage of Pitch Black, and that's the most romantic shit you
Oh
can
my
do.
god.
pouring it into a flute.
How about
Swirl it a little and smell it. Oh yeah, I can smell that cherry.
And while you're staying
Flavoring.
fancy, you're on the theme of fancy
my
dinners. You're not going out.
Yeah.
Because gamers, we don't go out.
I had
don't
that
go
same
out.
thing. I was
No.
like, we're gamers. This is not a going out.
So you've
in
got your
public
fancy
holiday.
beverage.
No,
Well,
no,
what's your
no.
fancy food? You're not going to go buy extra food.
Fresh
You just
Doritos.
take your Hot Pockets and you make them in the oven this time.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
I know, right?
They've got that
The
crispy.
convection flavor, and you don't need the crisping sleeve because you're
No.
baking them in the oven. Can you think
wow.
of anything fancier?
It's like completely done on the inside. There's no like frozen bits.
No frozen
Oh,
spots.
And you're like,
it is
here
a special day,
crispy-
Danny. It is a
Look at this
special
browned crust, crisp.
Also, the colors are different because the colors are red and pink. That's the theme
Yeah.
colors.
Yeah.
Well, we're changing those as gamers to dew green and Cheeto orange. Green and orange, like both the fluorescent versions of those
Oh
colors.
yeah, like the super unnatural versions.
Yep, and like all the cards, all the different like stuffed animals you can buy, they're all just green and orange, like fluorescent green and orange.
I would think like fluorescent green and black, like gamer chairs.
Yeah.
No, or just Genji from Overwatch.
Oh,
Like
there
I
you
just think
go.
of just like
Yeah, like
gamer
any of
stuff.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you buy like a Razer headset, and you're like, hey, look, it matches.
Hey, it's a Valentine's Day
Yeah.
thing.
Or yeah, maybe everything's just fluctuating colors, like your keyboards,
Oh,
right?
calling me out about my keyboard. Oh, you got me.
Just all the colors changing.
Mine is I'm gonna have to change my RGB to just those two colors.
If you
Yeah,
buy
just pink
them
and red.
like
Ooh.
a card, a Valentine's card, they can plug it in, download the app, and change the color on their card.
Perfect.
Right? Yeah,
Yeah,
just like you
that
do with your
makes sense.
headphones and everything.
Yeah, it's all Corsair stuff. It's a
Yeah,
Corsair
yeah.
card. They all sync.
Corsair
They all
card.
sync together.
Oh my god!
I think one of the big traditions that we forget about, one of the best parts of Valentine's Day is having a big public row in a restaurant. That's like a big part of it. Like have a big fight with your significant other.
that was like a
That's-
real British word you just used.
Yeah, it was. I kind of got caught up on it.
Sorry.
I know. I was like, oh, did he really just say row? You've been reading Harry Potter a lot lately?
Yeah, dude.
Hey, governor.
It's on my phone. It's the
Reading
only
Harry
thing on my
Potter?
phone on the iTunes. So when I get in the car and the Bluetooth starts automatically, it's always
Ron and Hermione getting in a row.
yeah, it's always just a new chapter.
row.
with a row. Anyway, long story short, you always got to have a fight in public on Valentine's Day. That is
Sure.
what it's all about.
Yeah.
But you can't do that. You can't make everyone in the restaurant uncomfortable because you're at home eating Hot Pockets. So instead, you have a very public fight in a chat room. And you just make everyone in the chat room, everyone in the lobby,
Everyone in the Discord.
extremely
The
uncomfortable.
Discord chat.
Yeah.
Is just
And they can't leave, just like the people in the restaurant. They can't leave.
No,
You
because you're
lock it
rating.
down?
Like you
Yeah,
have
you're
a raid
rating,
to do.
and
Yeah.
you are having
Oh,
a fight
yeah.
right there because it's Valentine's Day. That's what it's all about, guys. What else?
Let's see, I had some. So, traditional gifts that you give on Valentine's Day, right? There's the classics. Chocolates, right? Pass. No chocolate. Chocolate is a terrible gaming food because it melts.
Agreed.
Always the potential of getting some melted chocolate on your controller or your... So, out. Just chocolates out,
Right.
okay? Just forget about that. If it's going to be some kind of candy, it's got to be like hard-shelled, like Skittles or something.
Right.
Right? That you can just eat one at a time. Chocolate's out. Forget about chocolate. Flowers, though. This is a traditional. Like, you give flowers,
Yeah.
right? Gamers don't want flowers, right? First of all, the flowers are going to die real fast because they'll probably just forget to put them in water.
Oh, true.
But here's what you
Where they
need.
put them in dew and then
Flowers, they turn slightly yellow and then die.
put them in water, like in the
Here's
toilet?
what you get them. Because the gamer in your life is not leaving their house regularly. Don't get them flowers. Get them a plant, a house plant. And I even came up with specific plants that you can get. So there were some plants that I was like, these are gaming plants. There's a plant called a dragon tree.
Tight.
There's a spider plant.
Sick.
Devil's ivy. These all sound like things from an
Who
RPG.
named these
Snake-
Batman villains?
Snake plant. Staghorn fern. Come on. That's a video game.
Sick.
Arrowhead. Okay? The best part about all of these plants is they are low light, low maintenance plants.
Cool, because all
That's
my
all I
windows are
need.
blacked out.
Right, because you don't look, if you've got all that light coming in, you've got glare on your screen, forget it. So these are perfect gaming plants. Remind them that there is beauty outside, but they don't have to actually go outside to experience
No.
it.
See, I wanted to climb inside the head of someone who receives flowers, especially on like Valentine's Day. Like you're like, oh, thank you so much, it means so much, and then the second that person leaves, you just throw them away because you're like, this is garbage,
Yeah.
Or,
you're
or
like,
you put them
"Ew."
in a vase on your counter,
and then you throw them away later,
and then the petals start to fall off on the
And then
counter.
they
and you're like,
stick
I don't like
and
this
get
anymore.
dry.
Like
and
your
you're
cat starts trying to eat it, so you're
Yes.
constantly just like, stop, just stop.
And you're
So
like,
what's
okay.
something that you get a bouquet of that as a gamer that you're just gonna throw away once the person leaves? You're like, oh, thanks so much. This is a gift that means a lot to me. a bouquet. I'm sorry, I'm stuck on this. A bouquet of Mad Catz controllers. Like, oh, I love controllers because I'm a gamer, and thanks so much. And you just fucking go in the garbage.
Yeah, he was like,
They cost the same as flowers because flowers are weirdly expensive.
They're a disposable item.
yep.
I was like,
Oh
what
my
is a
gosh.
disposable item for gamers? And I was like, extra controllers.
Yeah. Just
The-
like
the
the
off-brand
Amazon basics.
controllers.
Yeah, you're like,
Amazon
right.
basic anything.
Yeah.
Oh
It's
my
all
gosh.
just going to go in the garbage after
Yep.
2 months, so
Yep.
it's perfect. Do you guys have any more?
Okay, so the other classic gift, the teddy bear, right? Gamers don't want teddy bears. Let's be honest. Gamers are all hoarding something bizarre that's like some sort of gaming collectible.
I mean, you can just say anime body pillows. It's fine.
Either that or Pops. Funko
Oh,
Pops.
no. Yeah, the Pops.
No, so don't buy them teddy bears. They don't have room for a teddy bear. They've got too many anime
They've
body
got too
pillows.
many waifus.
Too many waifus.
Dude, those
No.
fucking pillows. I wish you hadn't brought that up.
I'm sorry.
So sad now.
I'm so-
When you see the guys that take them out to like seat at a restaurant and they sit them across from them.
Yeah,
You
that's
guys
why
aren't
they
aware.
don't go out much.
There's a product that apparently you could buy that is a body pillow that has a hentai or an anime character printed on it, and these sell like gangbusters for lonely individuals. And
So yeah, don't get a teddy bear though. There's no room for
Get
that.
them a
Instead,
pillow.
get them
them
some
an
sort of
anime
collectible.
pillow.
It can be an anime pillow, I guess, if you want.
it's not a collectible.
But
She's-
they're not single.
You don't call
obviously.
Yuko a collectible? She's my one true love.
We're actually married. IRL. Wow, in my head,
She's
IRL.
the only one that cares about me.
No, get them some sort of collectible, but the perfect collectible for a Valentine's gift, a companion cube.
Aw. That's cute.
Isn't that perfect?
That's actually good.
That's
like,
really
it
good.
works.
Actually good.
Yeah.
I
So,
like that a lot.
Not a
companion
waifu,
cube.
a companion cube.
Yep.
I have one made out of soap, and I've had it for like 5 years, and I won't ever use it.
No, you
Oh,
can't.
yeah.
See, I told you, we're all weird hoarders about some stuff. It's like you get a collectible and you're like,
Well, first of
Gotta
all,
keep
it's a
this.
cube, so I'm not going to use like a awkward cube in the
No.
shower.
I think you're supposed to use it by the sink as like hand soap.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah,
Yeah, but
rubbing
it's like
it
a
all
cube,
over you.
so you're what? You're
No,
just
it's
like,
very uncomfortable. It's a very bad idea for soap. But I was
Just
like,
rubbing it on your hands.
it's like this is pretty cool, and you know, soap just gets harder as you leave it out. So I was like, it'll be fine. It'll basically just be a solid. People won't be able to. It just smells
Yeah,
good. Just
yeah.
plastic. Danny, do you have a name before we move on?
Oh, no, I'm stuck on the companion cube because I definitely have like a plushie of one, but I mostly just use it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I mostly just use it to like throw at my cat if he's going after the flowers that I don't want. Like really, it's just like it's useful, you know?
Right. Just like the original.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just like the
very
original.
Till you killed it. You monster.
Spoiler.
Okay, so we have another one. We have this one is how to propose to the gamer in your life.
This is a hard one.
I did do's and don'ts.
Oh, shoot.
Oh.
All right, give us some. Give us a do.
Do make sure to check how high your relationship stat is before proposing.
Smart.
Yep.
Don't be the guy at the football or the basketball game that gets down on one knee and makes
That's the best.
your girlfriend just walk
Uncomfortable,
away. 'Cause
yeah.
She's like, oh, you did not interpret this relationship properly.
Yeah.
So check your relationship stats.
It was like when I was playing Monster Prom, and I got to the end of the third week, and I had to ask someone to prom, and they turned me down every time.
You know,
Game
just the
sucked.
Monster Prom experience.
And
Yeah.
it was very reminiscent of Peterson's actual prom experience. So
Does anybody want to go? And it was just the weird.
I'll just go with my mom.
it was
again
the
this
weird
year.
goth vampire guy that was like, "Yeah, we're tight," and I was like, "But I don't even like you."
Oh.
That's how it worked out for me
Both,
in Monster
both
Prom.
times, and in real
Both
life,
times.
the weird vampire guy. Was,
I hated
Oh.
that kid.
Yeah. Okay, so don't. I've got a don't. Don't use any in-game rings with a rarity lower than epic. If you're gonna propose with an in-game ring, guys,
Yeah, it gotta
it
be
better be,
something big.
purple or higher. Don't bring that blue shit.
Purple
thinking,
or higher.
oh, it's a it says rare on it. It's not rare.
It's
Everyone
not.
has
It's-
one.
No, it's common.
Yeah, it's common.
Ooh, it's
If it's
common.
not ultra rare, it's common. Get
Yep.
out of here. Do take any before you propose. Do take any potions you might have to increase your luck stat because you gotta
Or your charisma.
or your charisma.
Right,
Yeah,
that can also
basically just chug any potions you've got.
Yeah.
You're gonna need them.
chug all the potions. What about all the drugs?
Yeah, I was going to ask about Psycho from Fallout 4. Just
them
like, okay, sweet.
You marry me!
The thing is, though, in those games, the more drugs you take, the more you can do no wrong.
Yeah.
You are essentially
Yeah.
a god at that point.
Yep.
Or you think you are.
Yeah.
Everyone around you is like, look at that psycho monster.
He's shooting at stuff. There's nothing around him. You're like, I got it.
I got it. I've been shooting a tree for an hour. Okay, so
Get a lot of XP, though.
don't. This is a big one. Don't do it when they're in an online game. I'm sorry, they can't pause it.
They can't.
If you come over and you propose to me while I'm in an online game, you're going to have to wait until I finish this.
Yeah, it's just going to be real awkward.
Sorry, I don't care what it is.
They'll probably
Yeah.
turn you down.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that proves that you don't understand their hobby.
Yep.
It's an online game, Mom. I
can't
pause
stop.
it. I'm not coming to dinner until I'm done.
There's other people.
Come on. Do make sure that Sonic the Hedgehog is gone before you pull out any rings.
He'll take that so fast.
He'll take it. You'll never see it again.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's true.
you like that one, Danny? Because it gets dorkier. Don't say, I was going to kneel, but then I took an arrow to the knee.
Oh, my
Oh,
God.
I
And I'm
will
out.
kick you while you're
I'm
down
out.
if you do that.
Okay.
That was the worst joke I wrote. I'm so sorry.
I had like an actual scenario. If you want to propose to your gamer, here's how you do it. Okay, so obviously you got to do this in Minecraft because you can just do create
Yeah.
your own stuff.
Yeah.
So what you need to do is send your significant other on because you can build all sorts of like custom quests and like, oh, go to this thing and then you go there, right? You're sending them on this custom quest where they're going to end up in a mountain, right? It just looks like a mountain. You have built this mountain. You've spent, and if you know Minecraft, that's going to take you a while.
Right.
Built this mountain. You got to make it look natural.
Gotta
So
mine
you're
the
putting like the
mountain.
plants on it. They're going to go in and they're going to enter a room that's full of gems. It doesn't have to be diamonds because let's be honest, like if I could go back and my wife didn't want a diamond ring, I wouldn't get a diamond ring because all the other gems are cooler than diamonds.
Yeah.
Like seriously, they really are.
We got a better one.
Yeah, that's you see it and you're like, I don't know, it's
Alexandrite.
like it's a clear gem. Let's get there's like all sorts of colors
Yeah.
and crazy. That's what I would do. But whatever gem you want in Minecraft, he or she will mine it, and behind that block will be a sign, right? Because you can make signs and have them say stuff, and it'll say "turn around" with their name on it. They turn around. You're there with a ring with that gem in it, and then you propose. That's how you do it.
Oh, that's
to
really
the gamer.
good. Okay.
I'm sure someone's had to have done something like that. But that was how I thought. I was like, that's how you got to do it. That's how you got to do it. If you're a gamer.
Okay.
If your significant other's a gamer.
Right.
So you got to do it for real.
I was going to say, you better, if your significant other is a gamer, I don't know if I would. You
I
better
think
make
you
sure they're
both
in
have to
for
be
it.
gamers.
They're
Yeah.
just sitting
To
there being
create
like,
that.
what game is this again?
What am I supposed to do?
How do I move forward?
I don't like this.
This is weird. Can we play something else?
You're like, we have to
Put
play
the Bachelor back on.
specific.
Put the Bachelor back on.
Okay.
I don't play this
I'm
stupid
in.
Lego game.
Oh my gosh.
Get outta
Stupid
here.
Lego game.
Danny, do you have any?
All right. So I've seen a couple really cute gamer proposals kind of over the years, just being a denizen of the internet, right? Mm-hmm. I've seen a lot of like inventory swap overs with like a ring item or
Nice.
my favorite one is the Borderlands one where they make a Borderlands loot box and put the ring inside
Nice.
with like a specific thing.
Yep.
But I think my absolute favorite are the ones where they contact the developer and have them help out.
Have them like do something special.
Yeah, put something in the game, especially if it's an online game. Ooh. Those ones are amazing. Those just always blow me out of the water.
Did you see the one that
What
dude,
game was that?
Spider-Man, I think,
Yeah.
dude, where he proposed to the girl in Spider-Man, but then he broke up with her. They broke up before.
by the time the game had come out, they had broken up. That was the best.
Yeah, no, you gotta you have to do it in a game that has community support and is already out, so
Yep.
so it's quick, you know. Otherwise, you're just setting yourself up for something very potentially bad.
Yeah, just really awkward. It'll make the internet in a bad way.
Yep.
It'll make the internet in a bad way.
All right, we got one more. Where's the thing? Oh, here it is.
Don't play no reindeer games with me.
I love Gary Sinise. He's just
If you don't love Gary Sinise, just get out.
You can get out because he's done nothing wrong in his whole life. He's just Gary Sinise. And reindeer games does not count as doing something wrong.
Go look at his IMDb. It is hit, over and over.
All right, so reindeer games is our little mini game segment, and we have a Would You Rather this week. Obviously, it's going to be Valentine's themed, and it is Would You Rather gaming dates. I don't know. I think we all took different tact on
Yeah,
this.
sure. It's just Valentine's and stuff like that. I only have one.
Okay, I have a bunch.
Okay, let me do mine.
Okay.
And then this was my only thought. And then this is my only one that I have. So, would you rather, and this isn't specifically around dates, but in RPGs, would you rather have relationship options or not? And I want to hear why. Like in Mass Effect.
No.
What? Why?
I know, I gotta hear the reasoning.
Relationship options in RPGs?
Yeah, so like you get like a crew, and can you like date them and fall in love with one of them or not?
No.
What?
I just don't care. It's so far.
But it's so fun. I love dating people in RPGs.
Really?
Like, I have one anime body pillow. I did not buy it, but it is.
That was Kill Peterson.
Oh my gosh.
But it is Garrus from Mass Effect.
Oh
and
my
I
gosh.
love it, okay? Like, Garrus is my boy.
Take that guy to Wendy's and eat a Big Mac with him.
Do you feed him a Frosty?
No!
It's like, put it in his... Have you taken Garrus out?
I have no.
Have you thought about it, Danny?
You at least put him in the passenger seat so you could ride in the carpool lane. Come on.
No, but I have left him at my desk once because my producer is the one
good.
who bought him and mailed him to my house. So I opened up a package and
my
was just
gosh.
like, he didn't. He did.
For
Dude,
any of you that are unfamiliar, Garrus is an alien.
My husband?
And Danny's husband is a fictional alien. He is blue, lizardy.
He's a gray, blue,
Lizardy looking
like lizard bird from Mass Effect, and I love him.
I mean, he is pretty cool. He's one of my favorite
He's a
companions.
sniper, and he's like your best dude.
Yeah, he's
And
pretty
then
cool. I do like him.
And in Mass Effect 2 and 3, you can kiss him.
The way you just said that, Danny, was the best. You can kiss him.
And I kissed him right on his mouth. It was great.
Danny's looking up
lizard.
exactly the decisions you have to make. Because you're a human in that game. How
Yes.
does that even work?
You have to talk to the scientist about it.
About how to make it happen?
Yeah.
Dude, this is incredible.
It's a whole cutscene.
Oh my God. What? See, that just doesn't interest me at all. Like,
How does that not interest you?
So let me tell you, Danny's like, I don't get it. How this is from the moment I met Garrus in Mass Effect 1, I knew it was
knew.
love at first sight.
This is my guy.
I knew.
This is my guy. I'm gonna kiss him. And
I'm
I
gonna kiss
did
him.
it. And I did
I
it.
did. I got to kiss him. I got to kiss him a lot. It was
Oh my
great.
God. I did it over and over, just replayed that
Dude,
scene.
I bounced off of Stardew Valley, which is like half of the game is like building relationships
Yeah.
at that point. Because I was
Yeah.
like, I don't want to date someone in a video
Here's
game.
my problem. In those games where it's not like a it's not like a dating sim. Here's the thing. I get too stressed out. I'm going to pick the wrong person or something like that. Because often I'm not like opinionated enough about them to like know which one I want. Mm-hmm. And so like Mass Effect,
You
for
gotta trust your
example.
heart.
Mass Effect, I went with Tali.
Danny, maybe you should watch The Bachelor.
Yeah, you're using all the lines. I don't know if you know it, but you're saying all the right things.
You say the word vulnerable, that's it. You've got to watch it.
You just
Journey-
are before the
you
suicide
go on this-
mission.
The journey you go on.
Oh my Christ.
Oh my God!
We're watching The Bachelor. That's
All
what's
right, right
happening.
after this, we're
Right
gonna
after.
start it, Danny. You're in. Okay, so no, yeah, I just don't know. So in Mass Effect, I chose Tali, but that's because I just thought she was cooler in general. But like, I always feel like, what should I have picked the other one? Like, what did I do wrong? Same thing in Stardew Valley. So I think I would rather just not have that option because I try to please all of my companions, and you're going to piss off one of them. Like Jack got mad at me, and then whatever the face is, the human lady. What's her name? Miranda.
Well, she's always mad at everybody.
I was like, I'm sorry. I've been trying to make you happy this whole time. You came on to me. I turned you down, and then I went with the alien chick whose face I can't see.
You have to be like careful with it though, because you have to like trust your heart, but at the same time,
This
is awesome.
You have to be careful though, because if you play another BioWare game like Dragon Age, it's a minefield. Because if you try to like, you pick out your like race and your character and everything, they went more complicated in that one.
Oh
You're
my
not.
gosh.
You can be an elf. You can be like a cool like big dude with horns, and that affects who you can date.
Oh my goodness.
And God forbid that you play a girl, because then the chaotic little lesbian named Sarah is going to come chasing after
She's
you.
going to come after you.
I wasn't
You didn't
expecting
even
this.
know. You didn't even know
I had
either.
no idea.
She's terrifying.
And you had no idea when you were choosing your character.
No, you don't know until
Oh my
hours
gosh.
later, and then she's already there, and she's like, "Hey," you're like, "No."
See, look,
Shit.
I have the same anxiety with the relationship aspect of an RPG that I have when when I have to choose a bad option in an RPG. When I have to be the bad guy, it's the same anxiety. I'm like, I don't know if I can do this. I'm so sorry.
I just don't. Okay, I have a bunch, and these are more specific than that, so
Okay.
they should be a little quicker. Would you? Would you rather go on a date with Gordon Freeman from Half-Life or Shell, who is the character from Portal? So you are going on a silent protagonist date. Who would you rather be with?
Shell.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
gonna say
real
Gordon.
pretty.
She's way pretty.
Do we know if she's pretty?
Yeah. How much Portal did you play? Because if you set the
It's
portal
been a long
just right,
time.
you,
You
can
could
see her.
It's been a long time.
Okay.
But I like Gordon. I thought he was pretty cool.
Like, he's cool too, but like Shell can jump good.
The thing is, like, Gordon's only cool
She
because
can
he's got
jump, yeah.
fantastic stories you'll never hear. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Okay, would you rather have your food made by Link over a campfire or in an overcooked kitchen?
Link.
Link, Overcooked,
It's
they
edible.
definitely dropped it.
It's definitely on the
Yeah.
floor, right?
I've thrown it on the floor. Like, that is where I had to leave
I
it.
store stuff there.
Yeah, like
I'm out of counter
wants,
space.
like someone wants meat, it's on the floor. It's cut, but it's on the floor. Just scoop
I never
it.
get dinged on it, so
scoop
it's
it,
gonna
yeah.
come off the floor.
Like, I kind of feel like Link enjoys it too.
Yeah.
In Overcooked, I know they are just stressed out and angry.
They're pushing each other,
I would feel
punching.
bad knowing what
You don't
want
want to support that kitchen.
Right. Link will just have a great time cooking it. It might suck. It might be that garbage
I was going to
food.
say, what if it's only garbage food?
Oh,
Because you've seen
At
his
least-
face when he eats it.
At least it's not on the floor.
That's true.
I don't know. Yeah, I won't want to make him feel bad, but
Yeah.
floor of Overcooked?
Or garbage food from Link.
I don't know. I think Link. At least I get to
I
hang
think
out with Link.
that was the spirit of the question. Like,
Yeah.
obviously he's not cooking like that spicy fish
This
dish.
is like his first
So
attempt.
good. Yeah. And
This
you're
is
like,
his first attempt when you're like, that didn't
just
work.
like a frog and a mushroom, and you're like, why didn't it work? What happened? What went wrong? Would you rather have your food served by Ganon from Zelda or GLaDOS from Portal?
GLaDOS. At least her voice is present.
But
It's
she's
pleasant.
gonna put nerve toxin
Yeah,
in it.
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, but Ganon's probably just, he's like a giant monster guy thing.
He's just gonna hit you in the face with the plate. Like, it's fine. But
He'll
at
just
least,
come like,
yeah, just like,
Specials today, sir, are.
you're like, oh my gosh, you're so big. And you look so mean.
Would you rather? So you're at dinner, and as all Valentine's dinners go, you're going through a breakup because you know this is it. Dude, did you know this? I didn't know that people do. It's like a winter. They like winter with people, and then they do the spring breakup. Are you guys familiar with the spring breakup?
that is
No.
weird.
So it's this phenomenon where people don't want to be alone for the long dark days and the holidays.
Okay.
And it's also a time when you're not going to go dating because you don't want to go out because we all have depression.
Yeah.
And so you find someone to winter with, and then you break up with them in the spring, and like Valentine's is the perfect time to do it. This is a thing I read about on Reddit. Apparently, it's like everyone's like, "Oh yeah, I know all about the spring breakup." I was like, what the fuck? It's like some psychotic
That is
cyclical
weird.
bullshit. It was crazy. Okay, but you're going through your spring breakup at the table with two of the most emotionally unstable people in video games. Kratos of God of War or
God.
Galen Merrick from Force Unleashed. Galen Merrick, if you remember, is the guy who got so mad he fucked up Darth Vader and then he went and fucked up Darth Sidious afterwards because he was so mad.
He's just mad.
He's just, that's the dude you have to break up with, or Kratos.
Is this pre
this
God
is
of War
old
4?
man Kratos.
Is this old man Kratos
Old man
or like
Kratos.
young guy Kratos?
No, it's young guy Kratos.
Oh.
Young bald Kratos.
Because he was pretty mean and aggressive.
He was aggressive, but I also feel like he'd get a little of that maturity still that led him to old man Kratos. So he'd just kind of be disappointed in you. He'd just be like,
No, I think
Galen Merrick
he
just
would
dies.
just like kill you without a thought. He would just be like, "Well, I don't like this feeling."
I think they'd both kill you, but Galen Merrick would be an accident, like Anakin style.
yeah.
I think Galen would be more catastrophic and more potential to hurt other people as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm so mad, I'm going to drop a moon on you.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, but everyone will die. He doesn't care.
He doesn't.
Kratos. It's got to be Kratos.
Yeah.
It'll be definitely violent, but it'll be fast, I guess.
It'll be quick.
Yeah.
It'll be quick because those blades are enormous.
And they're already in his hand.
Yep.
Yeah,
He's
he
already
eats
holding.
He's eating with his two big fucking blades. Like, he's like, this is not like chopsticks at all.
Like, eating so hard.
Dice of Destiny.
Okay. Round us out. We have Dice of Destiny. Dice of Destiny is this awesome little game we play at the end of every episode where we roll a 20-sided dice that has 20 different game genres assigned to it. We roll a 6-sided dice to see how much money you can spend on the game. And then finally, we roll a 6-sided dice to see who has to pick a game in that genre for that price, buy it, play it, review it, and then
We start over.
we
Yep.
do it
all
over
again.
So, I recently rolled a genre that Peterson was just drooling over because he already had the game picked out.
Well, I had two
So,
bad
like-
genres in a row.
So, like any good friend, of course, I bought the game he wanted and played it.
Sweet. Nice work.
Fuck you, buddy. So, I chose, and I talked about it a little bit last week, I chose The Return of Obra Dinn. This is a game that's on just about everything, I think, at this point. I played it on the Switch, which I felt like it was a perfect game for the Switch, but you
great
could
Switch
play
game.
it on anything, and it would be awesome. So the game takes place on an old East Indies trading ship that has returned to port at a little bit after leaving, and everyone's dead. And you are
when
an
that
insurance happens the best of us. You are an insurance investigator who is tasked with figuring out what happened, and you are granted this magical compass that it allows you, if you find a corpse, you can view what happened in the last moments of that person's death. And you're taken to what is essentially a 3D freeze frame. So the whole game takes place on this ship. It's like 5 decks, and it's pretty small. Like, for a video game, it's a tiny thing, but that's not the purpose of it. That's not really like the point. The point is that you're trying to piece together and solve they're logic puzzles. I mean, it's deduction types of things. You can solve them via the clues. So, for an example, you find the first body you find, and this isn't really a spoiler because it's in the trailer and it's the first body you find, but you pull up your compass, and the scene is the captain of the ship, or these are all unknown people at this point. An unknown man is shooting another man, and you have a little bit of dialogue that he's yelling. He's like, "You're gonna come take it from me, you bastards," and that's it. And so you have to use context clues. Where the person's standing? You have a map of the ship, and so you can kind of glean that the guy who's standing with his back to the captain's galley, or the captain's, what's that called? Quarters.
Yeah.
Thank you. Is probably the captain. And then you can glean that the guy he's shooting is this dude. And then you go and you have the other part of the game that controls a lot of the game is your journal, where you record all these different events and happenings and who was involved. And so there's 60 people, and you have to find out all of their fates. And that is who they are, how they died, and who or what killed them. And it's really, really hard to talk about it much further without spoiling it. But I will say the ambiance of the game is just incredible. The story is, the story being able to, it doesn't make a lot of sense. I feel like the first hour of the game, I was just following just keys and just not knowing what I was doing. And I was like, what the hell's going on? But then it just kind of clicks and you're like, I'm starting to figure out what the story is and what I'm supposed to be doing and what's happening and how to. And then by the end of it, I was so obsessed that I couldn't get enough. And I went looking. There is no replacement for this game. This is one of the points I want to make is this game stands just entirely alone on a completely different island that it invented, because there's not, it's a mystery. It's a game that fits the mystery genre, but that's the end of where you can compare it to other video games. It's kind of like a point and click. It's kind of like those old games like Myst.
Oh, I love Myst.
Yeah. So it's kind of in that same genre, but so much better and so much better written.
And unique. It's very unique.
It's very
and these,
cool.
the puzzles you solve when you figure out what they are and how to do it. And again, I want to say examples, but a single example may spoil this where you don't discover that on your own. And anyone that wants to play it, I don't want to spoil an ounce of it for you, because when I would find these little tiny things, you notice in a freeze frame of one memory that someone's doing one thing that you just missed because there were 17 people in that memory, and then 6 memories later that same guy's doing something that's extremely significant, and you're like, huh? And then you make that connection, you make this connection, you make that connection, and it's like, oh my God. And it's just so incredible. It's so amazing. It was kind of funny. The next day we had, I found these they're logic puzzles in a USA Today book. And I just was listening to the soundtrack from the game, sadly doing logic puzzles. This is
not the same.
It's not the same. It's just not the same. But that's where this game just sticks with you. I woke up thinking about it. I went to bed thinking about it. It's a quick game. It's 20, 30 hours. I solved all of the fates. You don't have to. If you're I'm stuck, I'm stumped, you can just call it quits and you beat the game. You understand the story. Everything's explained. And it's fine. I was obsessed. I had to do them all. And I'll tell you, I would recommend doing it that way because you can't go back. This isn't a game that has replay value unless you have amnesia, because you have been studying the faces and the names and the stories of these people so closely. You'll know them better than some people you met last year, honest to God, for the rest of your life. So it's called The Return of Obra Dinn. It's $20. I think I would buy it at any price. I'd honest to God recommend it at $40. It is unbelievable. It's on everything. It's great. I just want more of it.
I just want to bring up really quickly, because Danny's on, the art style of the game. You talked about it a little bit last week. It is all dots, right?
Yeah.
It's just
dots.
Just that dots. Makes it up. And it's not, and it looks good. That's
they call it monochromatic, or I'm sorry, 1-bit. It's called 1-bit.
Yeah.
The idea is that
Which
it's
is
all
really clever.
it's just dot art, and it's all. And you can actually, I don't know if you were aware of this, but you can switch the mode you're viewing it in, depending if you want it to look like a Macintosh or you want it to look like an old Atari. You want it to look
cool.
and so you can essentially the old, what was it was DOS that was the bright blue and then the white text on it. So you can have it be like that. You can have it look like the green and black. Yeah. So there's all these different and for me, there's the yellowy one that I think was Atari. And so for me, I found the one that was because one of them gave me a headache just looking at it. So you can kind of switch back and forth and see what suits you. It's incredibly well thought out. I think the idea that went into the guy clearly, the way it's intertwined, you leave thinking, yeah, this makes sense that it would take a person 4 years outside of development to piece this mystery together.
Yeah, just sitting there, one guy. Let's talk about that for just a second.
One dude made
One dude made that game.
Love that.
Yeah. And I'm just so shocked. I'm so happy. It's definitely among the highest, one of my favorite Dice of Destiny games I've ever played. I don't think it reaches the level of FTL because I haven't put 150 hours into it in a week.
Well, this is it's an experience.
But it is an experience that I I wouldn't trade for anything. It's so good. So I would just recommend you guys check that out. So Return of the Obra Dinn. Oh my God, we can't do this yet. We have to re-roll. We got to
re-roll.
We got to re-roll. Where's the is it under our cookies?
Oh, there it is.
It's right here.
Okay, and this is a randomized one, so it's
Good.
Danny approved.
Yeah, good.
Okay. Oh my goodness, I didn't want to get in trouble.
Just
with our
Danny,
knock
yeah.
it out of your
Our
hand.
Let
DM
me give it a
was
few
so
rolls.
mad
Yeah,
at
just-
me.
Let me feel it. She's weighing it.
All right, we got a 9, which is space.
Oh, good.
I hope
love
I
her.
get this one.
That's a great theme.
All right, so space is off the docket and simulation is on. And
good.
I think that brings us full circle, Peterson, because I think simulation is when I chose to play Stardew Valley.
Oh, really?
I rolled sim and I played Stardew Valley. I think
That's a
we've
great
gone
choice for
through
sim.
all of these so far. So,
Sweet.
not all the ones on the board, just all the ones that
Yeah.
we've rotated through. Okay, so we have a space game for $10,
So
$15
$15
or
or
less.
less. Wow.
And, okay, do you want to play, Danny?
Huh? Oh, I'm just watching.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4,
Yep.
5, 6?
Yep.
Okay, Peterson's 1, 2, 3, I'm 4, 5, 6.
I'm playing a space game.
Peterson is playing a cheapy
I'm
space
currently
game.
playing Outer Worlds. I'm almost done. So
I would have counted Kerbal, I think. You should play Kerbal with me.
how much is it?
Oh,
It's not $15.
not anymore.
I know. I'll find one. Don't worry.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good space
there's
games
plenty.
out there.
Like I
It's
can think of so many.
$40.
I know. I was like, I
This
should
is-
ask Danny. That's like her jam.
Yep. I do have that
Until the
reputation.
game you've been working on right now, she was like exclusively space games.
It's just how it happened. I didn't do this
on purpose.
Danny
she
is an
joins
astronomer.
the team and she's like, guys, I'm just going to put this out there. I will do no work unless it is space themed.
Ooh, I like this game a lot. Do you think it could be like 6 miles higher?
Wait, what do you
straight
mean
up?
6 miles higher? You mean like in space?
Yeah.
I mean, it's
like
it-
stratosphere or better.
Yeah.
Come on.
That was me basically pitching Dive. I was like,
Let's do that, but in space.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was actually an ocean sim, and then Danny's like, no, it's
Higher.
No.
Higher.
Yeah,
you
pop
went
it up
too
there.
far low.
way to
Yeah.
the sky. All right, guys, that does it for us this week. I'm JD logging off.
This is Peterson going AFK.
And Danny Powers, BRB.
Peterson Productions. Oh, yeah.